Hey everyone that's in Dex, boys, teachers and the parents. I'm Pastor Stephen and this is my wife Bianca, and we just want to thank you for this opportunity to speak to you on this Father's Day.
Some of us have wonderful relationships with our dads. Some of us wish we had a relationship with our dad. For some, this is a fun and meaningful day. For others, it's sad and painful. Today, we plan to share something with you that we believe will be meaningful for each of you. When I was about 11, my dad sat me down and said that he wanted me to know that he would always love me and always be there for me, no matter what I had done. And if I was in trouble, I must call him. And I must say that when I made some bad decisions as a teenager and young adult, he stayed true to his promise. And I did take him up on the offer. Having a dad who showed me unconditional love when I made mistakes is something that I will always treasure, because it has been so influential as how I see the Father in heaven. You see, God has given us fathers here on earth so that He can show us part of who He is. When my dad is there for me when I need Him, He is showing me what God the Father is like. God is always there for us when we need Him, and even when we think we don't need Him, He's still there. Then, when I did make mistakes or not do what I was supposed to, my dad would also let me know all about what I did wrong and how I should have done it right. And even in these times, in a very human way, my dad was still showing me who God is. The wise King Solomon wrote in Proverbs 3:12, "For the Lord corrects those He loves, just as a father corrects a child in whom he delights." You see, God also corrects us, but He does it in a kind but firm way. Not quite like my dad, but my dad is human and he did his best, just like you are doing your best. I know that not everyone has had an experience like mine, but what is amazing, that God puts other people in our lives like teachers, coaches, that show us love and encouragement and show us that we matter. Because each of you do matter. You matter a lot to God, and He loves you no matter what.
Thanks for sharing that, and I think that's really helpful. As I think about my own father and how it makes me think about God, probably the main thing that comes to my mind is that my dad always worked hard to see the bigger picture on any situation. You see, I grew up in a pastor's home. My dad was a pastor and still is. And as I became a pastor, we were able to have many chats about how to handle challenges, how to lead in easy times and in difficult times, and how to lead with people, and some easy people and some not so easy people. And so whether we were talking about leadership or the Bible, my dad always sought to step back and take time to understand what is going on, understand various views, and then allow his leadership and perspective to mature and develop. That meant that when he spoke, he was able to lead and speak with wisdom and conviction and a whole lot of sense. Now that has certainly been my experience, and I'm sure that the many people he has worked with would say the very same thing. This means that when I go to him for advice on any topic, I know it's going to be well thought out, practical and wise. And I think that gives me a bit of a foretaste into what my Father in heaven is like. I don't know if you've ever taken your kids to Cybono, but there's a device where you need to pedal a bicycle and you can power up a light bulb. Now, maybe I can keep a single light bulb going for a few moments, but compare that with the mind-blowing power God exerted when He created billions of galaxies and stars out of nothing. And so just like there is this huge gap between my power and His power, so is there such a gap between my wisdom and His wisdom. See, God says in Isaiah 55 verses 8 to 9, He says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. And as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." And just like I can go to my earthly father for wisdom, so I can go to my heavenly Father for perfect wisdom. And I say perfect for a reason. You see, I turned 40 this year. So I've been a parent for a little over 10 years, and I like to think I've learned a thing or two along the way. But one of the things I've definitely learned along the way is how imperfect I am. Even at my best, I make mistakes and errors of judgment because I don't always see everything there is to see, and I certainly don't know everything there is to know. And while one of the challenges of my role as dad is to do the best I can and do it with leadership and love and wisdom, the reality is I have and will let my boys down every day. But here's the wonderful thing about our faith, and that is I don't have to be perfect, but rather I get to point my boys to a perfect Father who loves them more than I ever could, and is perfect in every way. You see, we can't help but look at our Father in heaven through the lens of our experience of our fathers on earth. But I once heard a pastor, Louis Giglio, say this. He said, we need to go from God being a reflection of our earthly father to the perfection of our earthly fathers. So for every moment I fail and every time I fall short, I have, and my wife has, and my boys have, a perfect Father in heaven that they can go to and be loved and received every moment of every day.
So, to all you dads and moms out there who are trying to do the best that you can, by going to a Heavenly Father as a source of wisdom, patience and love, you'll do great. Happy Father's Day.